Ron, you want to say something?
This is tape 4 up on.
I am a strong supporter of education, too. I just strongly believe in education.
I think a student here who wants to go to college is highly motivated, would have a better chance of going to college and finishing college than one who's in the Philippines who wants to go to college and doesn't have the resources to go to college, even though he's highly motivated. I mean, the chances are he won't go and finish college.
I have benefited from not only the tradition of knowing my grandparents on both sides, and I guess cherishing those memories, but also being fostered in an environment where education was a very key role, and I think that that's an outstanding element in most Japanese families. But it's not a direct education, so to speak. It's an application to life. My parents would share going to where we would travel, and it wouldn't matter whether it was from here to Blackfoot or to a foreign country, and they would save up and they would give my sister and I the benefits of traveling. And they taught us that probably 99% of our education would come through travel and learning to deal with people and their circumstances. But they were, I guess, smart enough to qualify that statement and say that without a formal education we'd never truly be able to appreciate those experiences.
My husband Mai had always enjoyed, and he really believes in education. And through his effort and persistence, many of our Chinese friends, older friends in our generation, not quite as modern as we are, they're not graduates of college, but they are good people, and we try to persuade them to send their children on to school. Even our good friend in Walla Walla, who has a large farm, he said, well, I don't see why my boy have to go to agriculture school, because I can teach him all I know. But then my husband said, no, because he can learn all you know, but he can also learn more from the modern agriculture. Can produce more, and they can save more, and do things more. And then also, we have been persuading our friends in Spokane, Walla Walla, even in Pullman, to send the daughters to school too. The Chinese attitude is that, well, our daughter's going to be married into her husband's family. Why should we spend the money to educate our daughters when they're going to live with the other family anyway? But we always tell them that it doesn't hurt for a girl to have a good education and be able to support herself in case of necessity. That then she does not have to obey and do what their husbands want them to do. The idea my husband feels is that going to school is going to school, and you have no time to be dating. And so he said, well, wait till they're at least a junior at college before. And,
well, he didn't let me date as a junior.
No, he didn't
again,
like to have you do it, but he did not forbid you to do it. So,
I was married by the time I was a sophomore.
I know.
Long, in other words, he'd let us go out as long as.
And do what their husbands want them to do. The idea my husband feels is that going to school is going to school, and you have no time to be dating. And so he said, well, wait till they're at least a junior at college before. And,
well, he didn't let me date as a junior.
No, He didn't
But again,
like to have you do, but he did not forbid you to do it. See?
and yet I was married by the time I was a sophomore.
I
As
know.
long, in other words, he'd let us go out as long as it's the right person, right? And the right person had to be
Chinese. not that we have anything against the American people. That it is much better if you do marry within your own race. You have a background together, the same background, the same the same what. Cultures and the same ideas that the Chinese people have.
We have heard that Filipinos have a very high intermarriage rate. Can you comment on that?
That's what I can see. That's what I can see. Because my son is married to American. And my other son is married to a Japanese. And my other son is married to American. I mean, my daughter is married to American. They don't have the pictures here. Yeah, she's married to American. So that's what it is. They're all. I don't have any pure Filipino children.
Why do you think that is so?
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, good question.
Well, the reason, I really can't say anything about that, but I think the reason is that we don't have many of our people in here. You see, when he was still a minister in California, the early part of his ministry, they did not allow marriages, intermarriages like that.
Yeah.
So he cannot marry. So we have been bringing these people who wants to marry another nationality to Reno. In fact, we have brought about 7 of them.
Is that so? When you say they, can you clarify that? Who would not allow intermarriage?
The law in California.
In California?
In California. Maybe in United States. I didn't know this part, yeah, but in California they didn't. It was not allowed for intermarriages, so he cannot marry them.
So Reverend Kalau and you would take them to Reno?
Yes. And we did that.
Well, how did you feel about the intermarriage? What do you think of intermarriage?
So far, like I have been talking to him, that in my observation here, there are many that we know who are as good as when they are Filipinos or they're Americans, it's themselves. See, there are many that I know that we deal with, that they have the best husbands. They have the best husbands in the American side.
The races have been able to mix and be a cohesive group. You know, I always thought that when I was younger, I had a friend who was Caucasian, and it was a very dear friend because he just lived down the street a ways, and if something came up and he proposed to me, I still, as much as I thought of him, I wouldn't have thought of marrying him, because at the time Caucasians were, and Japanese marriages just didn't go. And they had all these laws too that regulated us from. So since that time, it's really been almost a complete turnover, and because we have children in his side of the family and mine too, who are married to Caucasians and doing very nicely. And I think just as much of the daughter-in-laws as if they were Japanese. And I think the grandchildren, naturally, they're just your grandkids. They're just extra special. And like you say, we've got blonde, darn near blonde, but blue eyes and curly hair. I said, I've often wondered how Mother would think if she saw a curly-haired granddaughter or grandchild, because in Japanese always have straight black hair, And here we have all our grandchildren who have pretty curly, brown, hairy, and all beautiful, all his complexion and everything. And somehow I feel like that the offsprings of an intermarriage, the children seem to be stronger and healthier, better in stature. They're taller. They're better looking. They're much more intelligent in school. I mean, all the children, have done very well in school. So far, so they always talk about hybrids, the first strain of a hybrid being so good, whether it's wheat or corn or whatever. I kind of think that with children too.
Each of us, when we graduated from high school, went to Hawaii for a summer.
Get a
And of course,
chance
we
to.
had been raised, amongst, in Moscow, and essentially in an all Caucasian community.
Atmosphere.
And so when I went to Hawaii, it was the first time I had been immersed into, a multicultural setting. And I realized when I came back that my dad was right, and that I would marry within my, at least within the Orientals. And so then Leonard and I Leonard already was working on his master's, and so we started dating when I was a freshman in college, and I was married at the beginning of my sophomore year. And I really feel, and you can ask my own children this because they've also gone through this, but I still feel quite strongly.
You would say you're raising your family, you and Leonard, according to the more traditional Chinese way.
Well, from the standpoint of who they marry, okay, and who they want to make lifetime commitments to as far as a family.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I've never thought about it. I just kind of think about more of getting through college and finding my own career before I even think of having somebody else to marry.
They have a lot of priorities as to what kind of guys that we date. They would want us to marry a Chinese and in our race. I think it's kind of sad how they only want us to marry in our race. I agree, and I see their standpoint, but it's a modern world, and you're living in a white world, so I think of myself as both Chinese and American and white and stuff.
The strongest feeling I got from my parents was, it's about time. Because I was 27 or something at that point. And,
that's young.
About that fine. They felt that I was ready for that, and of course it's difficult to think of yourself married when you're single, but in retrospect I think I was too. Ludi's parents were, I'm sure, a bit apprehensive, more for her sake I think than mine.
Right.
They were concerned that she wouldn't finish school, that she had been a valedictorian and all of these things in school, and they had great aspirations for her. She had great aspirations, and they thought when she married
somebody from Caldwell.
Yeah, somebody from Caldwell, Idaho, where's she going to go, right? So I think it's worked out all right.
Do you agree with that?
I think it's also, parents never tell you really what, how they feel. I mean, it's part of the culture. They infer, right? I mean, it's all infer. And I think my mom has inferred to me that when she grows old, I won't be there as a girl. Usually the woman takes care of your aging parents, and she was quite apprehensive about that I won't be around. Of course, because I follow my husband. Is that what she was worried about?
So how is it now?
She comes every 2 years, sometimes with my mom or with with my dad, and she comes and visit, and I tell her, when she needs me, I'll be ready, And she likes being around my kids too, so that has worked out well.
My mother would have been worried if I married somebody else. Just, be sure you know what you're doing, be sure it works. no
They
specific.
were afraid of divorce because they had the idea that everybody in America gets divorced.
At the time we were going to get married, another one from Los Baños, my hometown, was in the process of getting divorced with his American wife, who happens to be a good family friend. So that was something that my mother asked, well, are you aware of this? Are you aware of that? I, of course, said yes. But like any idealist, it never happened to me.
Well, we were noticing as we were interviewing people.
And what do you want to do once you graduate here? You have any plans?
Just go to school and be a cosmetologist.
Do you want to do that here in Kellogg, or
Yeah,
what do you think about the gondola project?
I think it's neat. It's going to bring a lot of business here, a lot of different people, maybe tourists.
Do you think your friends might hang around here after graduating from high school as well, or what do you think they're
Yeah, I think they will.
All right, thanks. Hi, who are you?
I'm Simon Miller.
Hi, Simon. What year are you?
Junior.
And do you have any plans after graduation?
No, I think I'm just going to go to college and come back and see what I can find for a job.
Plan on coming back to Kellogg?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Where do you want to go to school, and what do you want to study?
Probably the University of Idaho. And I haven't declared a major yet. I'm just kind of go with the flow and see what happens.
Tell me about the gondola.
I think it's the best thing since sliced bread, really. It's going to make this place boom, I think. I think it's really good for the economy and everything.
What do your friends think about it?
I think it's great. We won't have to drive up that long hill to go skiing. We can just ride up a little gondola instead of driving that long way. It's kind of a pain.
Are you a skier?
Yeah, I'm a skier. It's great up there.
What do you think it will do to the area?
It's going to be great. It's going to expand and everything, I guess, and it's just going to boom. It's going to be great.
All right, thanks.
Hold your book.
Government.
Hi, tell me who you are.
Amy Big Spring.
What year are you?
A senior, Kellogg High School.
And what do you plan to do after graduation?
I'm going in the service, the Army.
And do you have any plans on coming back to Kellogg?
Yeah, hopefully.
What do you plan on doing when you...
I don't want to come back and live here. I just want to come back and see how it... Just want to come back and visit my family and stuff.
What do you think of the gondola project?
I think it's really neat. I think hopefully it'll add something to this town. Do something for it and make it more prosperous, I guess. Say.
What do most of your friends here think about it?
Well, high school, they don't really think anything, really. It's my friends. I think it's just more the older people that really want this. But it'll be neat if you're a skier, I guess. It'll be neat to go up there.
Do you think any of the young people will benefit from putting a project like this in?
The younger people that might want jobs in high school, maybe.
Maybe. Do you ski at all up there?
Yep, I ski at Lookout. Mm-hmm. I don't really go to Silverhorn.
Would you ski up here once things are done? Or?
I probably would.
Would you tell your friends to ski up here?
Would I?
Yeah.
If they got the gondola in? Yeah, it'd be neat to ride up on one of those things.
All right, thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.